So we're going to start talking about decimals, and the first thing I want is for you to be able to understand how to read numbers that include decimals. First of all, the decimal in the number basically is the word "and." When you say a word out loud, or a number out loud, you'll read the decimal as "and." So right here, the decimal is "and," but you know how the big numbers, whole numbers that you're used to reading, they start with ones and then tens and then hundreds from the right side, and then they go 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then 1,000,000, 10,000,000, 100,000,000, where you have that ones, tens, and hundreds that repeat over and over again in these sets. Well, the same thing happens going the other way on the decimal, except for the very first spot does not start with ones. And everything in the decimal position actually ends with a THS. So that's how you can tell if a number is in a decimal form is if it ends with THS. So notice coming across here, let me grab my pen, my pointer, wasn't quite prepared for that. All right, so we have, here we had ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds. Over here, going the other direction, it's like we skipped the ones. We don't have a ones here, but it goes tens, hundreds, ones, tenths, hundreds, one, tenths, hundreds. It still does that, but everything ends with a THS. So this is tenths, hundredths, and then it starts with the next set. 1,000ths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, and then 1,000,000ths, 10,000,000ths, 100,000,000ths. So the very first spot, you could almost call it the oneths for the decimal, but it's like a mirror image. They're going this way, it's going ones, tens, hundreds, and so forth, and going this way, it's doing the same thing, except for it doesn't start in the very first spot with oneths. So then we come down here and we read this. Remember I said the decimal means and. This is 547 and 43, and then you name the last place value. Well, remember up here, 2 places over from the decimal, that's the hundredths place. So this would be read as 547 and 43 hundredths. Notice there isn't an and. It's not 547. You know, we tend to use our numbers or say our numbers wrong out loud. Technically, you're not supposed to use that word and unless you're talking about a decimal. So a lot of times people will read this like 642. You hear my 642? No, that's not how you say that. It's 642. No and in there. 642. If you had a decimal, then you can use the word and. This would be 642 and 1, and then you name the place value. Tenths. This is 547 and 43 hundredths. 547 and 43 hundredths. Okay, next one. This one, to say it out loud, it would be 8 and. So we have 8 and. Then we name the number we have over here. It's 15. And then we name the place value. 3 places over is the 1,000ths. So it's 8 and 15 thousandths. Or we could say 1,000ths. Down here, we don't have anything over here, so we're not going to say 0 and. It's just going to say 4, because that's the number to the right of the decimal, 4, and then name the place value. It's in the 10,000ths position because it goes tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So it's 4 10,000ths, not 4 and 10,000ths. It's just naming the place value, 4 10,000ths. This is 8,000 and 9 hundred thousandths. 8,000 and 9 hundred thousandths.